Hi, Suzanne Kilmer here, and it's my pleasure to talk with you about the lutronic new Derma V. I have a very early experience, but I'm very excited about a new, greener future. And I guess I can say I've been around here since the beginning. I did my fellowship with Rox in 91. And one of the very first pulse dye lasers, of course, if not the first pulse dye laser, was there since it was his idea. And it was basically based on his idea of selective photothermolysis. He and John Parrish had come up with that. And it was really to target port wine stains and to be able to more effectively and more safely treat them. So that we went along with that old, slow, zero cooling device until about 1996 when the V-beam came out. And it was the first one that had cryogen-based cooling, thanks to Stuart Nelson out of UCI. This cryogen spray chilled the epidermis and did a really nice job of protecting it from the wavelengths that was going through, which at that point was 585 up to 600. And things kind of varied in there as far as the wavelength. But for the most part, 595 was the wavelength that was settled upon. During that same time, KTP was looked at, IPLs were looked at, and the whole photo rejuvenation market expanded, if you will. And then the V-beam Perfecta came out in 2004, which was sort of bigger, better, more practical version. There was also a Gemini that came out with the KTP and the 532, 1064 wavelengths. And the V-beam still, though, really was the gold standard for port wine stains. And I think those of us that do a lot of port wine stains just felt more comfortable with a pulse dye laser. And then other things that kind of came along and were being worked on. And so we're finally at a point now where we want to see, is there something we can do to make a 532 act more like a pulse dye laser when we want it to? Because as much as we love the pulse dye laser, it breaks down, it uses up dye, it's a toxic dye, and it's just, there's a lot of, consumption of the dye. It's a little bit more expensive to use, also has a more expensive service contract. So what can we do? Well, number one, what Lutronic looked at was to see about adding cryogen cooling in, because cryogen cooling is more effective and quicker. When the cryogen cooling, you can do and have a delay and then do post-laser treatment as well. And if you watch this here, you can see where the laser is firing, never does it go above 27 degrees there. So you have really good cooling present, so you spare the epidermis and you can keep treating. So we have learned from the past. Over the last 40 years, we've had, the pulse dye laser Gen 1 was really in the sub-microsecond range. Pulse dye generation for 2 and 3, they had longer pulse widths, but it wasn't actually a continuous pulse. So there was a train of pulses in there that were originally sub-micro and then in the sub-millisecond mode. So this train of pulses was creating what you would have with a 532, which was a continuous pulse throughout the whole duration. So one of the things that they wanted to do with this new KTP 532 1064 laser was to see if they couldn't emulate these 3 different pulse structures so they could have all 3 in one and utilize them to their advantages when you wanted those particular. So you can get down to a 0.3 micron, 300 micron pulse, which is awesome. So 0.3 milliseconds. So then you can be in the sub-millisecond mode with a 1.5 millisecond. And then you can have, of course, the single pulse mode like you can get with a KTP traditionally. And I think these are all really cool and really important because there are times when I want it to be a really short pulse width. The smaller the vessels, the shorter you want that pulse mode to be. So, and then as the vessels get bigger, you might want to be in the, sub-millisecond mode. And then you might even want to be in the single pulse domain for the largest vessels. So what I'm hoping to do is kind of look at these and see if I can go like from 0.3 in the submicro all the way up to 40 millisecond train of submicros, and then utilize that maybe in conjunction with submillisecond and maybe even conjunction with single post mode. Maybe I can combine all these and make treatments more effective. The other thing that we want to do is add speed, because of course treatments are kind of slow, and the faster we get them over is better for the nurses, is better for the patients. So here you can see, I'll just start this video, how fast that you can treat this area. So we're just going along at pretty fast. This is 4 hertz, as you can see here on the screen. It's sub-microsecond mode with 9 millisecond is the total of the sub-microseconds. And then that has a fluence of 4 joules per centimeter squared. That's because this is a 14 millimeter spot size. So the longer or the larger the spot size, the lower the fluence, because you have that forward scattering adding into it. Now you can go faster, but you can see that it's able to keep up, and you can see that the cooling is managing to time out with it, or time in with it, I should say. So let me just show you some preliminary results. This is from Roy Geronimus, who did a lot of the initial work with the port wine stains. And you can see this gentleman with a very purple port wine stain, a bunch of different settings, using sub-micro and sub-millisecond pulse widths. And then basically, or he did with IntelliTrack, the 12 millimeter, 7 joules per centimeter squared with the sub-millisecond, 9 millisecond pulse with the ICD at 10.05. Here's just showing pre-treatment, 1 month after treatment, single treatment with these settings and getting really nice results. And then this is just same gentleman, just immediate post, the kind of purpura that you do get. And then 1 month after one treatment, having significant clearing in that area. This is a patient with rosacea, skin type 4, who has improvement with the settings, as you can see there below. It's in the sub-microsecond, because these are tinier vessels, with nice improvement and no hyperpigmentation. And then the décolleté area, you can see the settings there below. Immediately after, having erythema and some crusting in the brown, with the brown spots. And 1 month after treatment, having excellent lightening, and you can see improvement in the texture. So my experience so far, this is a friend of mine who is post-radiation from breast cancer. And I had already tried so many things. I had done regular pulse dye laser. I had done sclero on it. I had done the 3x10 handpiece, as well as all the different ones, and had very minimal improvement. And this is after a single treatment using sub-milli on the top and sub-microsecond pulses on the lower part with a 2-pass technique, and getting pretty nice results. We're also looking at port wine stains, and here you can see this is pulse dye laser in this case being used with the typical settings, and she's had multiple treatments and done very well through time. And now we're going to use the Derma V on the lower part. And you can see, obviously, it's a little bit faster. It has a teletracking that you can do quick if you want. So you can get nice results, as I can show you here. So this is immediately after. You can see the purpura is more significant with the pulse dye laser immediately, but it does catch up. And there's some more purpura. It's a little bit more delayed with the Derma V. And 2 days post-treatment, you can see it's still, though, not quite as bad as it was there. And here, just the amount of improvement you get before and then after. So equivalent and very nice results. She's really happy with this treatment. And here is another patient of mine that I've been thinking about OCT and the study that Jill Weibel and Kristen Kelly did, showing that there's everything from teeny tiny vessels to thicker vessels, which is the reality of port wine stains. So why not use multi-pass technique, maybe lowering the energy a little bit and doing different passes with different pulse widths. So that's kind of what I'm excited about. I'd really love to make the treatment of port wine stains better for patients and have fewer treatments. So in summary, the Derma V is a solid state laser with cryogen cooling. It has 3 times the peak power and the highest fluences at those wavelengths. It has variable sequential pulse technology, which is really nice and allows me to give me the ability to try all different kinds of things with it. So hopefully in a year, I'll have a whole lot more information for you about all this stuff. And it has that intelligent track delivery, so you can go very fast. It really is nice at being able to keep track of it and fire the pulses perfectly. And of course, that large spot is so helpful. Gotta love it. So with that, I'm going to actually share with you the company's video. You know, it's a marketing video, but it does a nice job of educating you. So thanks, everyone.
A laser platform today can no longer be just pigment, just vascular, just rejuvenation. It must be all three. Introducing the Derma V,
a complete reimagining of the dermatological workstation.
Combining the optimal wavelengths with optimal fluence, most flexible pulse duration, and gold standard skin cooling, the Derma V leaves every other dermatology laser in the dust. The Derma V redefines what a 532 nanometer green laser can be, with over 3 times the power of anything before it in dermatology. But with great power comes great responsibility, so we've developed 4 key technologies to safely and effectively use this power. Optimal fluence. Derma V's wider range of fluence at both 532 and 1064 wavelengths allows it to effectively penetrate deeper and increase the range of treatments never before seen with this dual wavelength combination. Effective skin cooling. Of course, with all this power, rapid and efficient cooling is needed. Derma V uses Lutronic's intelligent cooling device technology
that can spatially control the cooling of the skin pre- and post-laser exposure.
This allows you to operate faster and with more precision without worrying about contact gels, speed of treatment, or skin type selection. Variable and selective pulse durations. Over the past 30 years, dermatology clinics have relied upon 2 different laser technologies to effectively address the complete range of dermatological treatments. Derma V unifies these solutions into one platform, delivering safer and superior results in the process. Simply by using our proprietary variable sequential pulsing, you can safely reach your clinical endpoint regardless of the treatment indication. Power with intelligence. And finally, Derma V's IntelliTrack automatically tracks the movement, delivering perfect coverage of the treatment area, 2 to 3 times faster than any other treatment solution. Power, intelligence, industry defining. You get all 3 with Derma V.